Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. And today I am so excited and I am so grateful. I am so grateful to God to give me this opportunity to come before you every single week and just chat. I'm pretty chatty, and so this is pretty cool. Today, actually, I want to talk about, since we talk about this, I want to talk about gratitude and how God has been kind of talking to me about that and the things that he has been revealing to us, right? To me, sorry, the things that he's been revealing to me. And I just want to talk today about that because we're in that season. It's the end of the year. And this is a time of reflection. This is a time of getting things in order. And then sometimes at the end of the year, we beat ourselves up. It's either a moment of triumph or it's a moment of feeling defeated because when we started the year, we did not like the way we started the year, right? We had plans, okay? We had goals, we had objectives. And then at the end of the year, if you did really well, maybe you're feeling grateful, right? If you didn't do so well, if maybe you still have those pounds that you haven't lost, if maybe you still, didn't save the money you wanted to save. I remember seeing like a video, and in the video, it was like the person had these goals at the beginning of the year. It was like, save $10,000, lose 20 pounds, eat healthier and stuff like that. And then at the end of the year, when they did the reflection, it was like for the save $1,000, it was like save $1. For the losing the weight, it was just lose. And then for like eating healthy, it was just like eat, right? And sometimes that's just what it is. We had great intentions in the beginning, and then life happened, and then we did not reach those goals that we wanted to reach. And because we didn't reach those goals that we wanted to reach, sometimes we're so upset with ourselves that we missed really what actually did happen. I promise you, in a year, we've changed. I promise in a year, we have accomplished some things. I promise in a year, we're better than we started out to be, because not only, especially for us that are Christian, because our life is not fully dependent on ourselves, and our Father in heaven promises us that all things are working out for our good, right? And because God promises that all things are going to work out for our good, do we really think that a whole entire year could have gone by wasted? That the Lord, who says in his word that he knows the plans he has for us, plans to prosper us and hope, to give us a hope in the future, do we think that he's not orchestrating stuff in the background to really make sure that we get to where we're needing to be? Now, I am never going to be like, we shouldn't take accountability, right? I am never going to be like, we shouldn't do the things that we need to do. But today, I want to encourage us to focus on the fact, especially for those who are feeling like, I didn't do everything I wanted to do, and then wanting to beat up ourselves. Do we really think that the Lord, in his infinite wisdom, mercy, and grace, didn't work anything out for you this year? That there's nothing that he orchestrated, there's no seeds that were planted, there's nothing that was better that maybe we just didn't see yet. One of the places I've been with God is this understanding of him trying to make me understand that really his ways are not our ways, and really his thoughts are not our thoughts, right? The Bible tells us that as far as, like our thoughts are like far from the way that God's thoughts are. He doesn't operate in the way that we operate, right? And a lot of the times we live in life in accordance to our lenses, but if we would take a moment to really search out and to really try to see things from God's perspective, we may not be able to see God's full perspective because his ways are higher than our ways. And there are certain things that God sees and understands that is way above our purview, way above our pay grade. But at our level, if we would really ask God, hey, help me to see things in your light. Help me to see things in your understanding. And I promise you, as you navigate through a situation with God where you're asking him to see things from the way that he sees it, you will see that you do have reason to be grateful. You will see that there was growth that you could not have possibly planned for. There's growth, there's changes that you possibly you could not have anticipated, you could have not prayed for, because you wouldn't know, right? There are things that God has done in our lives in this year, 2025, that if we are so focused on the things that we had written down, based upon our understanding, we'll feel like we miss it. So today, I just want to encourage us to kind of really take a moment and seek the Lord, to have Him give you your year in review. One of the things I try to do often is maybe quarterly, but if I don't do it quarterly, at least once a year, I really ask God, like, I want my report card. How did I do? Right? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? I remember, I think it was 2024. I had received a word from someone, and the person basically said to me that this was a year to break cycles. And if the cycle wasn't broken, that the cycle would be repeated for 14 or maybe even 16 years. And when I got this word from this person, I remember I went into the year a little frightful, right? I went into the year a little, just scared. And that word was in the back of my mind for the whole entire year. One of the mistakes I did make is after I received that word, I didn't ask the Lord, how do I do it? Right? A lot of us hear from God, and then we get the instruction from the Lord, and then we do not go back to God to figure out how to implement what He's told us. And then we put in our heads how we think it should go. I mean, let me know if this is you. We put in our head how we think it should go. And then at the end of the year, when things don't happen, we grade it based upon what we established for ourselves, right? Now, I want to make sure this is crystal. God tells us something. And then instead of us going back to God and saying, hey, God, how do I implement this revelation that you've given me? We put in our mind, this is the way it should be done. And then we do it that way. Never really asking the Lord, hey, how should this be done? So as we go into the next year, the next month, let's be better, about asking the Lord, okay, God, you've shown me this. How do I bring it to pass, right? So going back to this, so this person gave me this word in the whole entire year. I kind of put in my mind how it should be done. And of course, I get to maybe like October of that year, and I'm freaking out. Why am I freaking out? Because the things that I had set in my mind that were needed, that were necessary to do to break this particular cycle, I felt like I hadn't done. And even the things that I did do, I felt like I didn't do well enough. I felt like, oh my God, I'm about to repeat this cycle, and I'm terrified. And I'm like, God, I don't want to have to go through this another 4 years. Definitely don't want to have to go through this another 16 years. And I'm panicking. And I'm just like, okay, God, we're winding down. Is there anything I can do? Like, again, I got there late. What I should have done at the beginning of the year, I didn't do. But when I got to the place of panic, I'm like, God, I can't repeat this. I want this broken. If it's available to be broken, I want it broken. And so, Daddy, I need your help. Like, I mean, guys, I'm in full-fledged panic because I'm like, God, I don't want this repeated. And I'm praying that for weeks, and just, I'm in panic for weeks. And then one day I'm driving, and when I'm driving, I love to, like, my car is my worship space, right? I live at home with 5 other people. It's not easy to always have quiet time, but I have arranged it so that when I'm in my car, like, I have worship music going. This is my time with the Lord, especially if I'm going for like a long drive. This is our time. And so I'm like, okay, Daddy, like, I'm worshiping in the car. I'm praying. I'm talking to God. And I remember God saying to me, you've made it. It's broken. And I'm shocked because I'm like, but I didn't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And He was like, it was never your place to get you there. It was never your job to get you there. The crossover was never yours. I said, I'm going to bring you to this new space. And it's and I'm a responsible father. I'm a responsible God. You were never not gonna make it. You were never not gonna cross over, because it was never your job to get you here. When I tell you I cried, and I may cry here, we'll see. I cried in the car that morning, and I just felt this overwhelming sense of God's love, his presence, his providence, his just greatness. That moment I was able to sit and I was able to soak in the fact, like, oh my goodness, I was beating myself up for this thing the whole entire time. And I thought I had it figured out. And I thought that I had to do so much. And God was like, girl, it was never your job to get you here. And because I'm faithful, I was always going to do my part. And this does not negate from us doing our part, obviously not. But I think a lot of the times we're so focused on our part, we forget the bigger part is his. And he's faithful to do that part. And so this is the end of 2025. We're winding down, right? And I want to remind you, as you're going through the year, I really pray that this message does for you what it did for me that year, where I was in a panic and I was just like, I was just beating myself up. And God reminded me that, yeah, I had plans for this year. Like me personally, I had plans, but the Lord had plans too. And it is the plans of the Lord that will be carried out. And sometimes we are beating ourselves up because what we thought was going to happen didn't happen. But the truth of the matter is, the only thing that God is responsible for making sure happens is his plan, right? So as we navigate through the next month, the next probably month or so before the year ends out, how about we ask the Lord, hey, how do you want me to do this thing? And even if, and I want to encourage you, even if God promised you, and this is the beautiful thing, like if God promised you something and he told you it was going to happen this year, it's not too late. I don't want you to be in a place of panic because, oh my goodness, we only have a month or so left in the year and it hasn't happened. If God said, hey, it's going to happen this year, you can take that to the bank because he is faithful. Like he said to me, girl, it was never your job to get you to cross over. It was never your job. It was my job, and I was always going to do my part, right? So I want to encourage us as we're, ending the year, so that we can be grateful. I've been listening to this amazing record, right? And one of the songs on there, the gentleman says, the album is Greater by Todd Galbraith. And one of the songs on there, he's talking about how when the enemy can't stop what God is doing in your life, because he can't, obviously. He's, again, using his own words, he's a defeated foe. When the enemy can't stop it, what he does is he will put us in such a place of overwhelm that we miss what God is doing in our lives. And because we missed that God answered the prayer, because we missed that we got the breakthrough, or the breakthrough is overshadowed by doubt, by fear, by shame, by guilt, but whatever it is that is your poison, you are not in that place of gratitude because you missed it. You're so like now, and again, the other day I was in prayer, and, for those of us that are married, sometimes we're so irritated and aggravated with our spouses. For those of us that have children, we love these little people to pieces, but there are times they test your nerve, right? And if you're not careful, you'll forget that you prayed for these kids. You'll forget that when you were little, you prayed for this husband. I remember when I was young, and there was people want to listen to whatever they want to listen to. I don't really listen to secular music, but back then I used to listen to secular music, and there was a song by Beyonce, and I can't remember the name of the song necessarily, but it was a song about taking care of your man, right? And I remember I used to listen to that song. And I used to be like, ooh, this is what I'm gonna do for my man when I have my man, right? Child. And I thought in that moment, we was gonna do this every day. He comes home and I help take off his coat, I take off his shoes. Child, please, right? My husband works nights, and most times I'm not even awake when he gets home, if I'm being fully honest, right? And so when we're praying for a thing, and then we get to the place that we have the thing, if we're not careful, if we don't ask the Lord to put the right lenses on, we may not only miss it, but then we may not be grateful for the thing that we've been praying for. So in this season, as we're dwindling down, I want you to take a moment and really ask God, because sometimes we miss it. Sometimes we don't get it. And the good thing is God is so faithful that if we ask him, he'll help us. I want you to ask God, what are some of the areas in my life that really I'm legit sitting in an answered prayer, but I'm so focused on the next thing, and I haven't even properly given you thanks for this place that I'm in right now? What are some of those areas in your life that seem so mundane, that are just everyday life? Like this morning I was praying, and because God has been putting me through this thing of being intentionally grateful. I was praying and I was like, God, thank you for every single time my children come in my room in the middle of the night, because there's other bathrooms in the house, but for whatever reason my children love my bathroom. And so for every single time they come they skip their bathroom. Now, mind you, though my house is set up, they have to pass the bathroom in the hallway before they can get to my bathroom in my bedroom. I said, God, I thank you for every single time that they come into the bedroom, slam my bedroom door open, slam my bathroom door open, to go and use the bathroom in the middle of the night, and then slam it out on their way out. Again, this is something that I could be annoyed for, but the fact that they're coming in my bathroom, first of all, means to me that they're comfortable, right? Second thing is they're alive, they're well, they're mobile, they're able to do it, and they're home, right? I could be irritated, I could be aggravated, but if I ask the Lord to help me see things differently, I'm able to focus on what really matters. Now, I'm not saying that life can be really hard and life can be really irritating. But what I'm asking us to do today is what the Lord has been working on me with, is to have on a different understanding, to have on a different lens. Find a reason to be grateful, even if it's hard, right? It's the end of the year. Find your reasons to be grateful. God has been so good to you. I don't want you to focus one more moment on what hasn't gone right. I want you to take the time to focus on the things that have gone right. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she's been going through it. Oh man, she's been going through it. And then she said that she was driving to work, she was talking to God, and she was saying, God, why is this so hard everywhere I turn? It's issues upon issues and problems upon problems. And then God asked her a question, and God said, when was the last time you were suicidal? And she was like, I don't remember. And God was like, see, you've been so focused on what hasn't been going right. You've been so focused on what's been going wrong that you missed that you haven't been depressed in a while. That you missed that you haven't been suicidal in a while. And even me, I was having a conversation with them too. And I was telling my husband and the same person how the core lie that the enemy had me believing for such a long time was that I couldn't get anything right. And even if I started something, I would never complete it. And then I was having an epiphany moment with the Lord when he was like, when was the last time you had that thought? And I was like, oh my God, I stopped believing that core lie, and I didn't even know when. I believe it was Tasha Cobbs that was at a conference that said how it's going to be a situation where God is going to do it and you won't even realize when he did it. And then when you finally realize, you won't even have an answer, right? Because all you're going to be able to say is, God did it. Are you missing your God did it right now because you're focused on what's going wrong? And there are things that you were praying for that God has done, but you haven't seen it. I'm so praying that when you see this, that your eyes are open, that your ears are attuned so that you can actually hear, daughter, when was the last time? Son, when was the last time? Whatever it is, when was the last time you encountered this situation? I mean, some of us are like, oh my goodness, I'm waiting for a breakthrough, but we may have missed it. And so I want to remind you in this season, as you are navigating through being thankful and being grateful, that there are things that there's even more to be thankful for. There's even more to be grateful for, because God has never stopped being faithful where you're concerned. Never one day. Even when the devil has been, out here just pummeling you, God has been at the helm of this whole entire thing, making sure that even these things that look like setbacks are not setbacks. They're just propellers that are putting you in the right position. They're positioning you into being the very best version of yourself. Not a single moment, not a single warfare that you have to go through is wasted with God. And as you end this season, ask Him, Father, where is my eyes? Where have my eyes been closed? What have I missed? What other areas have I missed that I can give you praise for? Make a list. And as you make the list, ask the Holy Spirit to inspire you and to open your eyes so you can see that not only are you not the same, but most importantly, God has been at work this whole entire time. The presence of warfare does not mean the absence of a God who is warring on your behalf, who's strategically positioning you to the very best, to the very next, right? So take a moment, pray, make your list, ask the Lord, and I promise you're going to find so many more reasons to be grateful. I am so glad that we had this time together, and I pray that by the time you see the next video, you're going to come with a heart that's so much more full, because you're going to be so much more aware of everything that God has done for you in this season. I know He's done so much for me, and I'm grateful. And I know that once you see all of it, you'll be grateful too. It was a pleasure speaking to you today. I will see you next time. As always, please like, subscribe, and share.